Welcome back to Finance 301. Today's topic is the weighted average cost of capital in a presentation titled That's WACC, how a company's weighted average cost of capital is calculated and how the WACC can affect business decisions. We begin by evaluating the net present value. We'll look at the naive assumption, which ignores time value of money. Then we'll account for the time value of money using the discount rate. Then we will apply that to see the difference that the discount rate can make on investment decisions. Then we'll learn where the discount rate comes from and how it is calculated. Then finally we'll discuss finance theories about the WACC. Net present value is a process of discounting expected future cash flows to our present time and then comparing the sum to the cost of the investment. Consider projects A and B. A will return $100 per year for 3 years. B will return $200 in year 1, $45 in each of the 2 following years. Assume both require an initial investment of $200. Which will you choose? We could compare our options by adding up the cash flows and seeing which one has more profit. Project A, 100, Project B, 90. The problem is that we didn't account for the time value of money, which states that $1 tomorrow is worth less than $1 today. The formula for net present value looks a little messy at first, but as we'll see on the next slide, it's not that difficult to use in practice. There are 2 rules for using the formula, which is that R is the discount rate, and the cash flows range from year 0 to year N, which is the final year of the investment. Let's try again using a discount rate of 10%. We now see that Project B has a higher net present value at $52.82 compared to Project A's $48.69. Project B is more profitable when we consider any discount rate above 6.6%, given our assumption of cash flows. So where does the magical discount rate come from? The discount rate is a company's cost of capital. It is the weighted average return expected by stockholders and bondholders. It is calculated by taking the percentage of the company funded through equity and multiplying it by the required return, then adding that to the percentage of the company funded through debt times the required return on debt times 1 minus the tax rate. The WACC is important because it is the company's hurdle rate for which investments and projects must clear in order to be pursued. Higher WACC means less projects are available and they will have a lower net present value. A lower WACC, on the other hand, makes more projects available and they will have a higher net present value. R sub E is the required return on equity. It comes from the capital asset pricing model. It assumes that investors will want to be compensated for a level of risk in addition to the risk-free rate. The R sub D is required return on debt, which is the interest that the company pays, and since it's tax deductible, we multiply that by 1 minus the tax rate. If the required return on debt is lower than return on equity, which it usually is, we might want to know why don't we just load up on debt and lower the WACC. However, the Modigliani-Miller theorem suggests that a company cannot change their WACC. This comes from the fact that increased debt means increased risk to equity holders and bondholders. So the required return on equity increases and the required return of debt holders, in effect interest that they pay, will increase as well. So the WACC remains unchanged, implying that managers cannot fool efficient markets. The question then becomes, are markets truly efficient? In conclusion, we've seen that investment decisions require analysis of time value of money, which is affected by the WACC. The WACC is affected by the capital structure, return on equity, and return on debt. Changing the WACC is difficult because market forces will adjust to changes in the company's balance sheet. If markets are efficient and rational, the new risk will be priced appropriately by equity holders and bondholders, forcing the WACC back to its previous rate.